Have you ever felt like you're trying to fly a jumbo jet through a hurricane? That's kind of what modern project management feels like, right? You're juggling all this complexity, a total flood of data, trying to land every single project on time and on budget. It's a lot. But what if you had a co-pilot, one that could see right through the clouds? Well, that's what we're talking about today, how AI is becoming that indispensable co-pilot for project managers. So, does this sound familiar? I bet it does. You are drowning in spreadsheets, status reports, real-time data feeds. It's just endless. And yet, when the time comes to make those critical, high-stakes decisions, what do you fall back on? Your gut feeling, right? Your experience and your intuition, which are great. But what if you could supercharge that intuition with some serious, data-driven insights? And look, this is the most important thing to get straight right away. AI is not here to replace you. This isn't some sci-fi movie where the robots take over. Not at all. Think of it like this. You've got this brilliant co-pilot in the seat next to you, just crunching all the numbers, running the diagnostics, so that you, the captain, can focus on what really matters, steering the ship. Okay, so here's our flight plan for today. First, we're going to break down what this AI co-pilot actually is. Then we'll walk through how it completely changes the game at every stage, from those crucial first steps in planning to executing with intelligence and even learning from our projects. We'll also get into the super important topic of ethics and, finally, what all this means for you, the future-proof project manager. All right, let's dive into our first topic, the AI-powered co-pilot. What are we really talking about here? At its heart, it's about a fundamental shift. We're moving away from relying only on our own judgment, our gut feelings, and moving towards this incredible partnership where our human experience gets amplified, gets supercharged by what the data is telling us. So, what's in the toolbox for this co-pilot? Well, a lot. First off, just think about the sheer scale of it all. AI can chew through massive amounts of data. We're talking historical data, real-time data, you name it. And in all that noise, it can spot these tiny, subtle patterns that, let's be honest, no human could ever see. This means it can start predicting outcomes with scary good accuracy, automate all that boring, repetitive stuff, and free us up to tackle the big, creative, messy problems only we can solve. Okay, section 2, smarter starts. This is huge because we all know that how you start a project often decides how you finish it, right? So let's look at how AI helps build a rock-solid foundation right from day one during those critical initiation and planning phases. It really makes this whole stage so much smarter. Let me give you a real-world example. There's this global infrastructure firm, right? They started using an AI tool to check if new projects were even a good idea to begin with. And this tool, it didn't just look at a few things. It analyzed over 2,500 past projects. That's a decade and a half of data. So what happened? Well, by learning from all those past wins and, just as importantly, all those past failures, the AI helped them cut down on projects that later hit major roadblocks by a whopping 23%. That's not just a number. That's getting ahead of problems before they even start. And the bottom line? Well, that 23% reduction saved them an estimated $45 million in just 2 years. That's the kind of power we're talking about when you build your project on data from the get-go. And it's not just about saying yes or no to a project. AI brings a whole toolkit to the planning process. I'm talking about things like automatically generating your work breakdown structure. You know, that giant to-do list for the entire project. It can build intelligent schedules, figure out the absolute best way to allocate your people and resources, and help you create estimates that are actually based in reality. It's a game changer. Here's a perfect example of that. Look at the before and after. Before AI, a project manager might just guess, building this website probably needs about 10 tasks. It's a shot in the dark, really. But with AI, the model comes back and says, hold on, we've looked at thousands of similar projects, and the average is actually 24 tasks. Oh, and by the way, here's a ready-made template to get you started. See the difference? You're moving from guesswork to a data-backed science, instantly improving the quality of your entire plan. One of the coolest parts of this is something called predictive scheduling. So what is it? Simply put, it's using machine learning to dig through all that historical project data to predict how long tasks will really take. It helps us get away from our own biases, our tendency to be a little too optimistic with our estimates. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a GPS for your project, right? Your GPS doesn't just guess your arrival time based on the distance. No way. It's constantly analyzing live traffic, accidents, weather, even the time of day to give you a realistic ETA. Predictive scheduling is doing that exact same thing, but for your project timeline. Okay, so our plan is rock solid. Now it's time to actually do the work. Let's talk about executing with intelligence. This is where the AI Copilot transforms into this vigilant watchdog, a real-time monitoring system that helps you stay on track every single day. So while you're executing the project, the AI Copilot is working 24/7 in the background. It's pulling in progress updates from all kinds of different sources automatically. It's using anomaly detection to raise a red flag when something looks off, way before it becomes a 5-alarm fire. And, crucially, it's giving you predictive indicators. So you're not just looking at what happened last week, you're looking at where you're headed next week. And does it work? Oh yeah. Just look at this case study from a financial services firm. By using AI during delivery, they saw a 31% drop in project overruns. They were identifying issues 27% faster, and get this one is my favorite, stakeholder satisfaction shot up by 43%. Why? Because everyone knew what was going on. That transparency is golden. All right, let's talk about the part of the project everyone loves to forget. The end. The closure phase. Too often, it's just a rushed afterthought, right? Well, AI can turn this from a boring administrative task into a real competitive advantage by making sure we actually learn from everything we just did. And the difference between the old way and the new way is just night and day. The traditional method, you have a rushed workshop at the end, someone writes up a lessons learned document that goes into a folder and is never, ever seen again. Sound familiar? But the AI-enhanced method is totally different. It's continuously pulling out lessons as the project happens. And it doesn't just store them, it builds this living, breathing, searchable knowledge base that actually makes your next project smarter. Okay, now for a really, really important topic: AI, ethics, and you. Because with all this incredible power comes a ton of responsibility, right? We can't just plug this stuff in and walk away. We have to talk about how to use our new Copilot responsibly if we want to build any kind of trust in it. And it all comes down to this one core idea. AI should enhance human decision-making, not replace it. The goal is always, always to augment our judgment to make us better at our jobs, not to just blindly follow what the algorithm says or pass the buck on accountability. So in the real world, what does that look like? It means we have to ask ourselves some tough questions. Like, can I actually explain why the AI is suggesting this? Is the data it's learning from fair, or is it full of biases that are just going to give me skewed results? And maybe most important of all, we have to remember that the final decision and the ultimate accountability still rests with us, with a human. So let's bring it all home. What does this mean for the future-proof project manager? Honestly, it's an amazing evolution of the role. It's a chance to shift from being a taskmaster, just checking boxes, to becoming a genuine strategic leader. And this right here is the key takeaway. When you let your AI Copilot handle all the routine stuff, the number crunching, the tracking, the boring reports, all of your time and your brain power gets freed up. You get to focus on the things that humans are uniquely good at: thinking about the big picture strategy, leading and mentoring your team, and building those crucial relationships with stakeholders. That's where the real value is. So I want to leave you with this final thought, this question to chew on. As AI gets better and better at automating the what and the when of project management, how are you going to master the why and the who? Because understanding the deep purpose of the project and leading the people who make it happen, that's what it's going to take to lead the projects of tomorrow.